Is a Bachmann coach worth £55? Right, well, let me tell you. Okay, well, this is the latest coaching offer from Bachmann. It's a Mk2 standard open in the revised regional railways livery. I say revised. They didn't have a revised livery like Network South East, but Bachmann never got it right until now. In fact, it was a darker blue, as you can see on this coach, but they always used to do it light blue for some really weird reason. I have actually got another Mk1 in the old livery, so I will try and show it you at some point in this video. But I just wanted to do a video to show you these coaches, and I wanted to try and talk about why are they charging £55 for them. Because I admit I really wanted these coaches. I wanted a rake. I model the era. You know, they're really good coaches. I had to have them. But at £55 a coach, £55. It's a standard Mk2 open coach in the regional rail livery, but it's weathered. It's quite heavily weathered actually. I'll show you more as we go through. And this coach has fitted passengers, but well, I'll tell you from the go, you only get 12 persons per coach. And I don't know if you can see it in the video, but the coach looks rather empty. You look in the windows and you can barely see anything. So I think I'll try and get the camera off the tripod and I'll try and show you the people. Right, as I'm off the tripod now, I can actually freehand the camera, and if you look, I'll try and zoom in. There you go, that's a bit better. You can actually see some passengers fitted. Actually, they're very good passengers. They're very well painted, and they aren't actually, none of them are the same. They've some of them got newspapers. I think one of them's a child, and one of them's holding like a coffee cup, which is quite different. So when you look at them, they're not all the same. I suppose Bachmann could have just put the same person in 12 times, just painted them different, but they didn't. As you can see, you've got on the far left window, you've got two people sat closest window. Then you can see a lady on the far window, on, if I can point my finger, on, there we go, just that one. You can see they're over there. But I'll show you a gripe. As soon as I opened the coach, I was really looking forward to seeing this, and I'll show you my biggest gripe. If we come down to the signal's going to get in the way. If you look very carefully, the two windows, well, tables at the end of the coach, this end and this end, are completely empty, and then you've got the two tables there with people and an empty one, and then it's the exact same on the opposite side. So they're not sat in different like tables or in different formations. It's very symmetrical. Now I can't say I'm a big fan of this, especially at the price point. But when you go on a train, there's always that one person who just loves to sling themselves right by the vestibule ends, right on the end, this window here on the end, right next to the doors. There's always someone on every single coach DMU you'll ever go on. There's always someone sat there, and in this, they're not. Now I have got, this is the Regional Rails Mk2. That's the standard open. That's the Mk2 brake. That's got passengers in as well. So that's the it's got the little compartments, that one has. The passengers sat on the other side. And then this is, just for a variety for the video, this is the Mk1 that's in the same set, the recent release. And as you can see, if I move it away from the signal, see what I mean? Look, empty, and then that end, empty. And if I pan along, you'll notice it is very symmetrical. But no, I'll give it Bachmann. They've actually put some genuine people in. They look the business. But there again, if you buy the Bachmann Scenecraft people at about £7.50's the normal going rate for them, and you get about 6. So they're not cheap. So obviously Bachmann have had to whack this on the price of the coach. So That's part way to the £55. And in addition to this, if I go back to the end coach, they are weathered. Now I might try and put the flashlight on. I don't know if it'll work. Oh, there we go, that's a bit better. Sorry, I'm just filming on my phone, it's not great. You can see that it's weathered, and the flash is sort of dulling it down a bit, but you can see the bogies and the underframes are very well weathered, very heavy. Now this is back on the standard open Mk2. Bachmann have put a really weathered roof, see, as you can see. So these coaches obviously ran the length and breadth of the 90s really, so obviously they would have ran like the northern and eastern really. Even on the eastern region you had like the the Cambrian coast, the North Wales coastline, so from Crewe up to Holyhead, Bangor, that sort of region. So these coaches and the locos would have got dirty. They were in regular day-to-day use, so they weren't really cleaned either. So Bachmann have replicated it very well with the weathering. So there's a Mark 1 if you want to have a look. See, but another gripe now for these coaches is, I don't know if I knock the flash off. No, actually I'll keep it on. You can see, look at the ends of the coaches, the bulkheads, really dirty. That's how they'd look in real life. You can see they've done an excellent job on the roof. Really dirty. Now that's the standard open. The exact same range, these coaches were launched at the exact same time. This is the break. But what do you notice? An immaculate roof. Bachmann have forgotten to weather the roof, and this can be the same said on the Mark 1. Same release. Okay, 2017, it came out in February, I believe. I've had these coaches a little bit now, but it's the same rake. They're supposed to run together, and you can see the weathering on that one. It makes the coach look really good, but then when you run it with the exact same coaches like you're supposed to, it just looks really silly. Obviously at some point I'm going to have to weather the roofs, but they will never match that unless I weather that one on top to try and match the rest of the rake. But well done Bachmann, great one. Okay, well, as promised, I said I'd show you the old Bachmann coach. This is the original Regional Railways Mark 1 from Bachmann. This coach has got to be 5, 6, maybe even years older. These coaches you can pick up for about £20–25. You can even find some new if you know where to look. You find some really good model shops. There are some about. Anyway, yeah. As you can see, I know the coach on the rear at the back is weathered, but you can see it's a completely different shade of blue. The one on the front is a lot lighter. The camera's not doing too much justice, but you can definitely spot it. And what you can notice more is the blue stripe on the coach at the back is thinner, and the white stripe is a lot thicker. Now, as you can see, these coaches match, so should they, but these don't. I'll put the coaches together and I'll actually show you a little bit better. That's better, as you can see. There we go, once it focuses. The shade of blue is completely different, a lot darker on the newer coach. You get the orange cantrail stripe atop of the white stripe above the blue there. On the old coach you don't, and you can definitely notice the stripes, how different they are. And this is actually a good point to show you the weathering. You can see the bogies. They are running different bogies. Bachmann have got the bogies right. These are running on the standard Mark 2 bogies, but the Mark 1's got fitted with the Mark 2 bogies as well in Regional Railways days. The coach on the left has actually been re-bogied. They are Network South East Mark 1 bogies. They have a bigger wheel set. I don't know if you can spot it, the wheels look bigger because they are, and obviously the springs are on this one. You can see the springs are on the outside and they're in line with the wheel. Over here they're in the centre of the bogie. That's the Mark 1 bogie. That's a later version of the Mark 1 bogie, I shall add though, but I don't want to bore you with bogies. Yeah, so there's a quick look. If you were thinking of running it, if you've got some old regional railway coaches and you want to run them with the new ones, well, that's what it would look like. I suppose from far away maybe you wouldn't notice it. If I can focus, there you go. You wouldn't notice it too much, but if you're going to spend £55 on a coach, then I suppose you want the rate to look absolutely spot on. Maybe if you don't mind or you don't have the money, then obviously it's perfectly acceptable, yeah. If you weather up the coach, it looked quite good. But, you know, it's just, to me, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't look right. So there's a quick look into the coaches. I'm not the best at reviews, but I thought I'd just give a quick guide or overview over them. They're great coaches, don't get me wrong. They're just like the Bachmann Mark 2s. They replicate the look of the Mark 2 brilliantly. They've got separately applied details like the handrail on the end, and obviously the grab handle by the doors, and the weathering on them is brilliant. They're not like just a quick spray over in the factory. They've actually been genuinely weathered to look like the prototypical coaches. Even the windows are weathered, like you can see. They've not been like weathered just so you can't see in them, but like obviously when the train runs, the dirt and all that would go up the windows. On the end closest, so this end, the coach windows are actually more weathered than the top end. I don't know if you can notice that on the camera, but no, Bachmann have done a really good job on them, except the roofs. Look, you look at the difference. You can see it now. The coach on the right, weathered. Coach on the left, not weathered. And obviously the Mark 1, if I can grab it? There we go. And that's not weathered either. So I don't know whether Bachmann were aware of this or anything, but it seems a little odd. And then asking £55 for them. Obviously Bachmann just don't want them to sell, really. Obviously I've purchased them because I really wanted them, and I had to sell some things to obviously make the funds available. But this looks like the way Bachmann are going now with pricing, and they're sort of just asking higher prices because they know we're going to pay it. If we want the stuff, then obviously we have to pay it. Like there's a 37 loco to actually match this rake, Robert F. Farley, that's the name of the loco. It's a 37 Type 4, heavily weathered in this livery, £123, which is again really steep. I know it's not a cheap hobby, but I remember when you could buy a brand new 37 from Bachmann for less than £100. You could buy a DCC fitted loco for less than £100, and the locos, they've improved, but not that much. Especially like the 37s. You could buy an old 37 now, and they're practically identical. I've got one of the very, very earlier ones. It doesn't have tail lights, but otherwise it's very, very similar. But I don't want this video to turn into a bit of a rambling session or a moan at Bachmann. Lower your prices, make people be able to afford stuff. It's just I wanted to just get it off my chest, and I wanted people, in case you were after watching or buying rather these coaches, I wanted you to know the ins and outs. And are they worth £55? No. But like myself, I really wanted them. I had to buy them, so that's what I went and did. I've got a couple more standard open Mark II coaches on order. I'm waiting for them to come back into stock from where I bought them from. Once they come back in, obviously I'll add them to the rake. I'm modelling this rake on something that ran up to Holyhead from Crewe. They used Mark II mainly, but they did have the occasional Mark 1s thrown in because that's the stock that they had available. they were usually ran in 4 or 5 coach formations. I've got 2 5-coach formations, the InterCity Mark 2s and the Network Southeast Mark 1 rake, and they're both 5-coach. So I think I might leave this as a 4-coach, and obviously for the sake of my bank balance I think it will have to stay as a 4-coach, and obviously I'll have to get the 37 to match. But I hope you've enjoyed watching this rather strange but rambling on video. But if there's anything that you'd like me to cover, or if you want to see a proper full review in depth, then drop me a comment and I'll try and sort something out for you. So thank you if you've made it this far. Thank you for watching, and I hope I'll see you soon. Thank you very much.